Hop in, babe, we're going.
Woohoo!
Well, your new friends from the Netherlands used to have a house left into the mouse, got an old RV, got Penelope, she's in 1983. Well, your new friends from the Netherlands, bad Penelope. Pat loves taking pictures and Pat has left design. Penelope loves driving till the end of time. Well, RV-licious, if you like a vibe, please subscribe, please subscribe. Take it away, Petra.
Yes, buddies, we wanted to talk to you about our experience so far after almost a month of designing, working hard, grinding every day. Yeah, what the difference is between having a real life customer with the online competition experience. And there were two things we noticed. First,
Number one.
yes, number one. First thing we noticed, and still notice of course, is the lack of feedback from your potential client. Basically, we just do a step in the dark. You design something in the hopes that it is kind of what the client wants, because usually the briefing.
I'm gonna close the hatch for a second for the wind. There's wind.
Wind.
Yeah.
Because usually the briefing is very limited and leaves a lot to be desired.
Need new logo, surprise me.
Yeah, and that's basically you have to work with, what you have to work with. Yeah, surprise me. Yeah, and because it's so, the briefing is so limited, you just, yeah, pray and pray in the hopes you win the contest.
Yeah, you wing it. Huh?
You win it.
And then usually you hope
Yeah.
after you wing it, after you won it,
You winged it?
then it's the client's job to let you know, like, how much of the target did you hit.
Yeah.
And there is a system where the designer in the online contest can give you stars. So 5 stars if you really hit the target
The
well.
client,
What did I say?
the designer.
Oh, yeah. So the client lets the designer know if you get 3 stars, you can hit it sort of, but not completely, so might have another wing at it. But if you have 5 stars, then the client lets you know, yeah, you won at it pretty good. And you're a potential winner. So then you need to know, what do I got to do for the final 10% to be the winner? And that's what Petra means, with the input.
That's where it lacks.
That's where it lacks.
The
They leave you in the dark. They get so many designs that they just go with, what do I fall in love with absolutely, unconditionally.
Eventually they will... Was that a mosquito?
Oh, it was a little bug. Little bug.
Yes, eventually they get so many designs, somebody will come along who hits it right on the spot.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
they go with, they're very visually inclined. They go with what do I love, what do I fall in love with as the moment I see it. Even though, as all you guys know, sometimes if you fall in love at first sight at something, usually if you had some time to think or have another glance at it, sometimes you think about it completely different. That can go for job interviews too. I've been in job interviews in the past.
But
that
that's not relevant here.
Well, yeah, that you're enthusiastic to work there, but in the drive home or in the train ride home you think, wait a second, I noticed some flags that I didn't notice before. And that could be, if you fall in love with the design, then you might pick it the winner, but then you haven't thought out about like, hey, what if I print this logo from my home printer? How will it look in black and white? You get seduced by the rainbow colors sometimes.
Yes. Pretty colors. Yeah.
So not having that final feedback, that really is frustrating.
Annoying sometimes, yes. Well, sometimes. It's annoying all the time.
Yeah, because you know you won it pretty good because you get 5 stars. And then you think, okay, what do I need to do to finish the job? Please let me know. And something you can ask that, but they don't respond back 90% of the time.
Yes, because they got a lot of more designs to choose from.
Yeah, you only have, we spend a few hours on the logo, but they only decide in a few seconds. So the one moment they love it, but then they already see something else that they love too, and they give that 5 stars too. And then they keep on waiting, maybe there's something better beyond the horizon, so they keep waiting. And they leave you waiting as well, and they never think about giving some more feedback. And that is very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's pity.
Yeah, that makes it more like, what Peter said, it's like a winging game. Swinging.
Yes.
You spray, you pray, and what clients don't realize is that every designer needs the input, because they're all good designers on these sites. They all are waiting for input so they can improve the design more to the wishes of the specific client. And you see that frustration is present also with other designers. They're constantly asking for feedback. If you're getting one star or no stars, you can think, okay, I should come up with something new myself. But if you're really hitting it on the mark and you're getting 5 stars, and the client says, I really like this.
What's the problem?
Pick it. Pick it. Well, why not pick it as a winner?
Why for designers with 5 stars?
Yeah. The same with choosing and dating. You think, if I pick this one, do I settle for this one, or do I wait if a more pretty person comes along after this one? And you're always afraid maybe you're passing up on the best you can reach. If you get like somebody who's in rating 1 to 10, you think, oh, now I found me an 8 or a 9. Do I settle for the 9, or do I wait for the, or to settle for the 8 or the 9, or do I wait for the perfect 10 to come along, who might never comes along? So, yeah. So the second point. The second huge difference is that with a real client, you can completely miss the target, but based on input, that's the first point. Based on input, you can still win the job. You can still get paid. Because you keep working with the input you're getting. If you get no input, you cannot really finish up. But the second point is that when I was working at advertising agencies, we always won the logo. The clients always approved the logo, never only based on what the graphic designer showed them. It's based on what story you accompany. As a copywriter, I always wrote a story about a logo, explaining why the logo looks like the logo looks. And that is very important, because you have to give the client something to tell, what they can tell to their bosses who are paying for all this, or if they're paying for it themselves, it's what they can tell their partner, their friends, their families, their clients.
Yeah.
What can they can tell, hey, I paid for a new logo, look, this is it, and this is, and then people will ask, oh, what does it mean? And then you don't want to be saying, I don't know what it means, but the designer said it was it was very cool or hip. You want to be able to explain your logo to everybody else.
Yeah.
So I always wrote an explanation that they could bring home to their wife, family, and partners, and colleagues, and employers, and customers. I always explained the logo. And sometimes you have to do it because sometimes the explanation is not visible at first glance. And you can tell to a client who, for example, in a wine company, you can tell the client, yeah, what you see is just simple lettering at first glance, but if you look closely, you see in the white, between the letters, in the white space, you can see the shape of a wine glass or a wine bottle. And then people are like, oh wow, I didn't see that at first, but no, very clever. Same way if you look at the FedEx logo, it's like a courier transporting company. It has a hidden arrow in the white space. You can look that up. It's very cleverly done, but it's geniusly done. But a lot of people see that logo for many years without even realizing that it's there. But if you tell it to the client, it adds that extra dimension that sells the logo. And with these design contests, you don't get the opportunity to explain it. Some logos need explanations, because it's not always clear what you're looking at or why a certain choice is made. Sometimes you can say, well, I made, you wanted a logo with the word space, for example, is an example. You can make the logo by putting more space between the letters, which emphasizes more space, but you can also, for example, cramp up the letters together very tight, which also emphasizes the need for more space. So if you tell people that, they're like, oh well, that's very clever. That's that's the story. It sells the item. The same way that on eBay, if you write that you have like an exclusive piece of item that is worn by some sort of celebrity or historical figure, then that will sell more. If you say this painting was painted by a name of famous painter, that will be more expensive than if it's just a painting and you don't know who painted it. But the moment you say, no, this was painted by this painter, and this is more about this painter's life and backstory and his struggles in life and where he was when he made this painting and what happened afterwards. It's the story that you can tell other people. That is what sells the logo. And that is what we always do in real graphic design for real clients, but it's impossible to do in a design contest. You can only upload your logo picture without explanation. And you just have to hope that the client gets it. But sometimes it needs clarification, and that's what we're lacking in.
Yeah, it's more like a lottery than an actual, wow, you got skills, let's work together.
Yeah, it is in that sense. It doesn't matter which designer the client picks, because they will all be able to improve. And if everybody would get the same feedback, then everybody has a shot at least of delivering, and then you can say who delivered it the best or the smartest or the most elegant. That will be the winner. But many times you not get to hear it, and then you get stuck in the final phase, and that is very frustrating.
Yeah, it's a pity, because you have to put all that work in, and eventually you just see a winner picked and you don't know why.
Yeah, or sometimes you see the winning design and you think, oh wow, I wish I knew that in advance. Wish I was told that in advance. Sometimes the client says, don't use the color blue. And then you see the winning design and it is a blue logo. And then you think, oh, they changed their mind in between. Wish they let us know that, for example. Or sometimes the client says, use an element of an ice cream, and then later on they change their mind, and then you see the final logo without an ice cream, and you think, hey, they asked for the ice cream, so you put in the ice cream, and then they decided that they didn't want the ice cream to begin with. And you as designers sometimes think, ah, that's cliche in ice cream, I wish I didn't have to put that in. But because they're telling you, you put it in. And afterwards they like, oh no, it's okay, we're also open for non-ice cream logos. Important info to mention. So we always look at it, we spend a lot of hours on it, and Peter and I are thinking, are we able to land at least one design per week, ideally, or at least a few per month. Average one a week would be great.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
But I
awesome.
don't think in this love at first sight system,
No.
because we make complex choices when making a logo, or simple choices, and you really need to be able to explain it, and somebody who's only going for love at first sight, he just wants to see for $100 that he pays for the logo. He gets sometimes to see 100 designs. They pay for seeing a quantity, and then they're going with the best out of the bunch that they have an instant connection with.
Yeah.
And that is something you cannot predict.
No.
And because you cannot predict it, and you're not getting input, it's more like flipping a coin.
Yep.
And it's like Peter and I could go to the casino and flip a coin. Do we gamble on black or on red?
Yeah.
Or even or uneven, odds or even. We have the equal amount, almost, chance of winning.
Yeah.
Than with this design contest.
Yep. Exactly.
And winners are picked, but there's now not really a logic in behind it. Sometimes it's only like, it's pretty, shiny, ooh, gold lettering. But a lot of people don't understand that if you go to a print shop, that if you want to have gold or silver printed, much more expensive, and sometimes it only can be achieved in a press, in a print press.
Yep.
Designers are sometimes very cleverly showing you fancy shiny stuff, while logos in the long run, the logos that last through the centuries or the decades, are usually very simple.
Yep.
And timeless. So you can either go with a trend, if the client really wants to go with a trend, like use rainbow colors. Or you can say, no, I want something timeless, I want it made once, and I want it still to be as strong in 10 years, or 15 years, or 20 years even.
Yes, I don't get the impression that clients go for the long run at all.
No.
No.
These kind of clients, they might as well just do like one contest every year.
Yes.
They get tired of it very fast, I think, because they choose so fast. Chances are you pick the wrong thing for your brand, and
Yep.
so even though we probably will continue doing the contests, we're not going to do them at the rate that we're doing it now. Most of the designers we see on there, they usually do it as a side job.
Yeah. I think so.
Aside from a regular job in the design world. And if you want to make it a full-time living, you would have to be able to have better communication with the client.
Yep.
And in real life clients, you have that advantage versus these online contests.
Yes.
So I think we're going to go off the gas pedal a bit with the amount of hours we've been designing.
Yes.
We're still going to do it, but we're also going to look for other possibilities.
Yeah. It's pity, but yeah, you gotta keep on searching, and that's what we'll do.
Yeah, it's using our creativity it's very energy draining, but it's very fulfilling. So you have to be focused, constantly focused on ideas and details. So it does take a lot of energy to design and to be busy like this. But we love this, and we think we can, if the right digital nomad job comes along, we can use the same kind of focus to earn a successful living as a digital nomad. We just have to be aware that of all the options out there, you just have to try it out sometimes. And there are a lot of sites that offer work where you have to work really cheap, like for 1 cent. 1 cent. Yeah, in copywriting, 1 cent per word is very common. While if you want to make it worthwhile, you would have to get like $1 per word. So you work 100 times cheaper usually on many design sites like Upwork and People Per Hour and all those freelancer. Those people on there, they really want the cheapest one of the bunch. So I see people offering, like I was checking out copywriting the other day, they want you to copyright like 2,000 words for like $5, and 2,000 words is like a whole day's of work, and then you will only make $5 that day, and you'll be lucky to make $40 in a month. And you can say, well, but Patrick, that's $160 at the end of the but then you're like doing it non-stop, and I've done that kind of jobs, and it's not rewarding. If you sell yourself your skill that cheap, you just get very depressed with yourself for doing that. Taking into account my skill level is very high, so it's very disheartening if you're working like almost for free, and that is so. And by not accepting those jobs, and I think that's maybe an important note to finish up on. By not accepting those, I'm working for dirt cheap jobs, you keep yourself open for the right job. Because as soon as you dive into a cheap writing job, it will consume you completely, because it's usually a ton of work for very little pay. And you also have to be worried if you're getting paid, because the cheapest clients usually have the highest demands also. They expect to be treated like a royalty for dirt cheap pay. So we gotta find the thin line that works for us, and that's what we're working on. We have had some ideas since that in 2015, we were talking about this with one of our viewers. He said, Patrick, why don't you put the name...
2015?
Yeah, 2015 I already had the idea to become the traveling copywriter. And I had an idea for a website, I had an idea for a name, and I said to Petra, we're going to make some magnet stickers, put them on the van, so we can take them off whenever we need. And Herman and Gea have that too. They have magnet stickers with the logo of the company on there, but if they're not working, they take that off. And we had some similar idea in 2015 already, and I said to Petra, I just have to make the website, and I have to make, we have to make like the brand, and we have to make the whole thing work. And then we never had funds to do it. And it's one of those things that you don't want to do if you cannot do it professionally, because if you put it on your van and people see it on your van when you're driving, it better has to look good. If it looks bad, you might as well not put it on there. So we never had the funding to complete that project, but it's still always been in the back of my mind that we wanted to carry that out. But it is as simple as we need $60 to make another website. Then we need money to make the magnet sticker. Then we need money to print a lot of things we can do ourselves, but it does require an initial investment, which we until now never had the extra budget for to do. So that is what we're saying, that we got a lot of plans, and we know that when we drive around, Petra, we can advertise whatever on the van. But for now we put our YouTube channel on the van, because that is up and running, that we have created without having to invest a cent. We can create a YouTube channel. If we create a website, it's gonna cost you, and you don't want to put yourself out there like traveling copywriter at free cheap websites made for free. That's why we put made for free in this domain name.com. That's not professional. You also don't want to say my email address is batmanfan69 at free email address because I couldn't pay for a real professional email address.com. So you really have to do it, and when you do it, you have one chance to do it good. You don't put yourself out there prematurely. And then I said to Petra, if I cannot put myself out there professionally, I'm not going to put myself out there prematurely.
It's cliche, but first impressions do matter.
First impressions matter, and that's what that's exactly what is with the design sites too. Love at first sight. They see you, and that's the impression they get from you. And so we got a lot of ideas, like we said, to make money, and some of them will just have to wait until we have some spare budget to carry out those projects. But at the moment, we don't. So it's all for the future. No, you finish up. You finish up the video.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for watching. I hope it was
Adjective.
Informative, educational, and all those things. And yeah, see you in the next video. Signing off.